until on whom I seek refuge, to merit from you the measures, to aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bodies of attachment and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one on the full destroyer, the complete, perfected, fully waking being, perfect in knowledge and incarnate, forget the knower of the world, supreme guide, maintained, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shankar clan, trusting his offerings and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the complete, perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and incarnate, the great knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings, contained, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shankar clan, trusting his offerings and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and incarnate, the knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings, contained, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shankar clan, I prostrate me, offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 70 strides, and then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, and I prostrate. With pure bodies, most supreme and pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes through the three worlds. Winner of the best Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. That's what you are you, the three worlds are not. Incomparable wise ones to you I prostrate. The Savior, heaven, great compassion, the founder, heaven, all understanding, the field of merit, the qualities of the vast ocean. To you, the one born to lessons, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the noble realms, the one path to sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies or prostrate. Those who are liberated who also show the path to liberation. Holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, and use the sublime community and the virtue I prostrate. Homage to the supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all three I devote homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing the bodies as many as, all men's actions in all aspects, to the supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit me non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew of a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See condition brings as such. Through these merits, the descendant beings attain the rank of all things and the flow of falls, and be delivered from the surrounding ocean, procured by the waves and agencies of death. From Tashi, his hundreds of gods protected his heart, to tip of this fresh, pure white fruit cord like cloud. O lovesome droppers, thou his prominence king, pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead on lions from lotus moon, venerable Guru smiles brightly with delight. Christ stay hundreds of years to spread doctrine, and supreme words feel from my mind of faith. Your wisdom mind sees full range of nobles. Your eloquent speech adores fortunate ears. Your beauty is your body think word outstanding. How much to you worthwhile to think of famously. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense like perfume and so on. Oceans of offerings set out in unity. Offered up to you, supreme field of merit. Non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have picked up since beginningless time. Especially what has contradicted your vows, each I confess in my heart with strong regret. In time of strife, restore fluent in practice. Shande, when you concern, made life essential. O protected from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable Gurus from love and wisdom, clouds dense and masked in your Dhammakaya sky. Pray loose the rain of Vest profound Dhamma on the fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue that we here gather bring benefit to all beings in doctrine. And may it make memorable essential teachings especially shine forever. May say when it turns shine. Dreaming can call one call jump call you home malu jump sa sang wad song song ka song da song ka love song drum ka la so wad deb. O glorious and precious Redeemer, credit to your lotus on my crown, bearing from you your great kindness, the sword tames and blood extinction mine. O glorious and precious Redeemer, credit to your lotus at my heart, bearing from you your great kindness, the sword tames calm and supreme. O glorious and precious Redeemer, credit to your lotus at my heart, bearing from you your great kindness, until supreme awakening remains steadfast. Homage to the exalted three jewels. Thus have I heard at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in the eternal valley of the mountain, together with the great assembly of monks and the great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of the mission. At that very time, the Spirit of the Bodhisattva great being was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the continuous inherent existence of the five arrogant also. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shari the Spirit of the Bodhisattva great being, how should a child of the Indian strength wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus is spoken the Spirit of the Bodhisattva great being, replied to the Venerable Shari as well, a daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom. To look perfectly like this, subsequently looking perfectly correctly at the emptiness of the inherent existence of the five arrogant causes. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, the only discrimination, conceptual techniques, and consciousness is happening. Shall Buddha like the soft on without characteristics, that is, they are not produced, they must cease. They have no deformity, no separation from God. They have no decrease, no increase. Therefore, Shall Buddha, emptiness, there is no form of feeling or discrimination from exceptional factors of consciousness. There is no eye, no hearing, no nose, no tongue, body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object, no touch, no there is no object elements, and so forth, up to no mind element. Up to an element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance, no sensation of ignorance, so forth, up to the aging of death, and no sensation of aging of death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no sensation in the path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, also no non-attainment. Because there is no attainment, no effect of relying on the body, no origin of wisdom. Because in the minds of no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing by the power, they attain the final state of mind. All of which reside in the three kinds by relying upon the perfection of wisdom, unmanifest and wisdom, state of unexpressed complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unexpressed knowledge, equal to the honeycomb mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all sufferings, is not false. We know it is the truth, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom. Shari. So that is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One rose to a concentration, said the experience of Avakasha, bodhisattva, a great being. Well said, O child of the lineage. So it is the profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as your partner of the top of the building. And the Blessed One has said this is the Avakasha, bodhisattva, a great being. The entire state is well worthy. Beings God, choosing them to love another as another, filled with veneration and contemplate what has been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy system of the proposed with clairvoyance and miraculous power, what are you going to parents for such a thing as your children? How much is your host of simplicity? All enemies and structures and hangers should ever so on. The 80,000 types of structures classified for conditions. They all be reduced conducive and perfect auspiciousness, bliss, happiness, bliss, and well-being here right now. Ground, earth, the little fork and the sun and the moon, seeing as we are field and heart with us, they all send things and joy to us. Day, sun, matam, paranam, Kurukulla, and Satrang, Jita, Sampadu, Jaten, Mala, Jaja, Joka, Jaha, So, Guru, Rakam,
Good. We finally got snow. Now we got wind. I don't know, this summer is too dry. All the grasses, trees, all the dry. We got a little rain today. It's good for environment.
Yes. Yep.
Environment. Anyway, nice to see you.
Yes, see you.
And I think today people are confused. Change the time because we have evening class. It's okay. Anyway. Who loves thunderstorm? You guys doesn't like?
I like it.
You scared? You guys scared? When I was a kid, we had to go outside in the mountains, keep the cows. Yes, then even then, how big thunderstorm, no choice. Then I'm not scared anyway. Anyway, this was we are very fortunate, and everybody set up the perfect motivation. The Tibetan Buddhism, as main thing is motivation and dedication is very important. That what you do, the practice, is powerful or not powerful, is main thing is the motivation. Then we say, Mahayana and Hinayana. It depends on motivation. For example, you do 3 prostrations. The motivation is, I want to free from samsara. Therefore, I'm going to the prostration. same action, you do 3 prostrations, your motivation is benefit all sentient beings in order to benefit all sentient beings. Right now I don't have any power. Therefore, first I need to achieve enlightenment, benefit all sentient beings. Therefore, I'm doing the 3 prostrations. The same action, but this is a Mahayana practice. Same action, but different your motivation. Therefore, everybody, even we doing things to our own things always, we don't care others at that, but just try to motivation, benefit all the sentient beings. Therefore, I'm doing practice, I'm doing study, I'm doing any positive things. That kind of motivation, then you do any positive actions, they will become Mahayana practice. Therefore, first you that motivation, then when you end, your dedication you that whatever I done, we done, this is also cause to all sentient beings happy. If you have that kind of motivation, then we are safe. Then usually in this world, this century, $6 billion human beings, is correct? 7 billion. Then they are all not religion people. They are not all Buddhism. They are not Muslim. They are all not Samta. But is religion, non-religion is same is everybody wish to happy. Everybody wish to peaceful life. It's same. Then we just wish, oh, I want to happy, I want to happy, I want to peaceful life. It's not coming. Right? Anything, so whatever we want to, you say, I want to PhD degree. Then you say, oh, I want to PhD, I want to PhD. That doesn't come. You have to very hard working. You have to study effort yourself. Right? Therefore, if we wish to happy, if we wish to peaceful life, is first start to from our self. Is correct? Then we say, how can we start? We say, I'm good person. We say, we don't do bad things. Right? Usually we say, I don't do any bad things. What I have to change? Then, but we doesn't do very serious wrong things this life, right? Yeah. I don't know how we identify serious things, but anyway, we don't do very bad things. Anybody will surprise, oh, this guy did that. We didn't do that. But unwinding, we call solving is unwinding. Whatever we unwinding things happen, this is we call solving. Solving with no need lose your hand, no need cut your leg. Unwinding, big, small, doesn't matter. This we call the solving. Undesirable. But we have always happened, right? If we go through one things, but again second one come in. Never stop, right? If one thing's we fix, then something other things wrong there. look like an old broken car. If you have a very old car, if you fix some place, the next day the other place is broken. Right? Same is there for us. We have something always big, small, Usually we all, lot of gatherers, people maybe we say. I think this country is the most important is the wedding day. Right? Wedding day? Wedding, that's correct? Wedding, no, chansa. Wedding. Everybody with a lot of decoration, everybody try to show very nice. Looks everybody okay, but if you go to inside, then maybe talk a couple more minutes. Then everybody has the problems. Then they can talk, right? Then we say, okay, I didn't do any bad things this life, but how I have a lot of problems coming. Okay, I think now my English is too safe. I want to say, I don't want to use all of them. I want to save a little bit. Anyway, this is the time, kind of the men, Tanganzo, Nanga Dodon Rote, Tanganzo Zambli, Simchi Chas, and they want to go to
Anyway, so the main point is that all sentient beings in this world are same in wanting happiness and not wanting any suffering.
Tenida Deva the Dunga Sete Chig Tanganzo Nambi Shevayana. Tam Michigan on the Chinyambateva Nashin Mateshawado, Michila Techik Deva Trea the Dunga Treagi Tachi Nibadosh, the Washado, the Yonga to Kenako Mares.
So according to Buddhist teaching, it is believed that suffering and happiness is not something like a gift, that you can give to somebody, or somebody, who makes you have happiness, who can have a power to control you to have happiness or have you suffer. This, the Buddhism doesn't believe in that.
Yembayana Tanganzo Chulu Kelenge Melenge Chulu Kandijina Kanji, Deva Dunga the Dunga Madabata Chingsway Bares.
So, being said that, there's all sentient beings, whether they're religious or not, whether they believe in religions or not, we're all same in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering.
And then on Tenjiza Zambuli Chulu Kelenge, that Chulu to the Chazan Tangazo Semchelachi, Deva, Triag Tapshi, Dramana to Chanja in Bares.
And all these different religions in this world are supposed to be a means, to bring happiness, to different kind of beings.
That Tapshin Ram Mandra, Ta Chu Shetanda, Mrachina Kanji, so that Semchela Devan de Chitin Bares.
So these are all different kinds of methods and means, to bring happiness for sentient beings.
Teneza Gandu Kangeta, Chulu Kangalayata, Kishipchores, take Kichimoshares.
So because of that reason, we should all respect all of these different religions.
And the Chulu Kare Che the Mecheta Susu Ramares.
And it is up to oneself, to believe in religions or not, or to accept any kind of religion.
What in the Mazata, Gandu Namado, Tash Chevaina, Kanje Deva the Dunga Seate, that Jet the Gelatin Grace.
And so according to Buddhism, what it experiences that all the sufferings and happinesses comes from causes and conditions.
Tende by the tongue and Dunga Yoga Jetatan getting a line, but Dunga Yoga Je, and that said the language in the Dujatan Leme on the Tanger was.
And the cause of this suffering could be many different things, so something that we may have created in this life or not necessarily in this life. And so, like I said earlier, even though we haven't done so many bad things in this life, but we experience sufferings, and so we might wonder, why am I experiencing this suffering? Because I haven't done anything bad. And to answer that, in Buddhism we believe in past and future lives.
다 당당 강조된 양도 요래서.
And in the past, we had many different kind of lives, right? So also it's believed that it's not just only one past life, and there was a past life of that past life and past life of that past. When you go that way back, then you never reach to the beginning of life. So there's no beginning, where you started, where you can say, oh, this is where it started from. And so during those lifetime, we have created so many different kind of negative actions.
그래와. 텐디 제도 사차와인다 다 아니 저버데 깬다는 다 매고야 말이죠.
And so the suffering that we're experiencing now, could be created. The cause of that suffering that we're experiencing now could be created in one of those lifetimes. And so we have created the cause in one of those lifetimes. And in this lifetime, when we meet with the condition, then that negative actions, ripens in a form of suffering.
텐디상 아주 다 남비가 제단 저버 생각도 괜찮게 그래서.
And so that's just like in anything else, we also believe in causes and conditions and cause and results.
저 마상마에 바차나다 저버째 왔다 진직된 주님 말했어 지금 저게 말했어.
So it's not only in Buddhism but in general, right? The cause and effect, is accepted by all. So if there's all the cause and condition together, it is definite that the result is going to come into existence.
그러와. 텐디가 지체는 가시 청와지 지금 마상나 안 저버데 때문에 깨도고 말했어.
And so all the causes and conditions has to be together for the results to take place. If any of the conditions are missing, then there will be no result.
텐디 맞아. 다 나라 중에만 제도 사사바다 다 저번디 다 체들한 것도 젠때 들어가서 말았다 저번디 뭐 연구 그래서.
And so, because we have already created the cause in the past life, so in this life, when we meet with the condition, then that that karma ripens in a form of suffering.
배차샤와이나 당간도 콘로사에 동아진 것도 저기도 저도 강가 콘로사에 동안되어 강연되어.
So, for example, when we get angry, we experience suffering, right? Do you understand? Do you accept that we feel unhappy? Feel bad if we get angry?
미드 콘로사데와나 안에 저 년년데 간데 야보지와나 아니 다 미들에 대화요 말했어.
And if the person is angry, no matter what he has, how good friends, how much wealth he has, he will not be happy, right? While he's getting angry.
그러와. 아니 콘로사데나 칼라 간데 심어진들잖아. 칼라가도 좋아요 말했어.
And when you are angry, even the most delicious food that you're having will not have any taste.
Right? 텐데마다 다 텐데 깬데 간데시데 다 텐데 둥아데 간데데 오르나 다 깬지 깨자 시야탄다고 남저 땐탄다고 때들이 말하지는 않아서 다 공부 사용도 봤어.
So what makes us angry? What is the condition that brings the anger in our mind? Is just the way people talk to you. All right, people look at you, and of course, the reaction is all from your side, and when people just from the way they talk, where they look at you, that can cause you to become angry.
그러와. 아니 텐데 텐데 다 공부 사회 둥아데 수ኛ가래 나라 수ኛ가도 왔어.
So if we become angry, we ourselves is the one who experiences the suffering of becoming angry, right?
다 대그 신소대 소소고 다 남이다 침대도 간가 지원명도 소장도 왔어.
And then the side effect of that, is that all the people around ourselves, also becomes unhappy, right? Our friends, our relatives, even the neighbors around us becomes unhappy.
그러와. 간제 딱 부수 도보지와나 침대 간가 셔대고 이것도 용도 왔어.
If somebody, who is all the time angry or who is always very tensed, then even the neighbors, feel uncomfortable, around that person, right?
근데 뭐지라지 딱뭐 코파 양보 고자 침보 가르쳐다 나치다 릭되는요나 미칸가 뭐 대단냠노래라 가와다 아니 지금 삼나 남도 매야고도 왔어.
So if the person, is always happy, very, talking very nicely and have an open mind, broad mind, and then people around, him or her feels also very happy, to be with him or her, right?
오, 든지 맞았다. 든지 그 간제 배치자 콘로 사회 둥아. 텐디가 콘로도 산에 동아다 냐기 레드 나마나 사차바레 사비 켄데 다지 계자 신이 남이 다니 되는 거 좀 알아봤어.
And so the karma, to become angry, or the sufferings of becoming angry, and the cause for that suffering of becoming angry is already created, a long time before. But the condition is that the way people look at you, the way people speak to you, and that can trigger that condition to ripen in a form of suffering, becoming angry.
다 텐디가 레드 카네다 오사거스나 다 감주 무파 콘로 라와야나 디가 슈마 소소 냐기 레드 산로 그래서
And so there's a cause, that they call it substantial cause, and then there is the cause corresponding with the result, and so forth. So one of the substantial cause of becoming angry can be that you cause other people to become angry.
어 텐디 이자다 아니 소소소 콘로 산에 미 바조와 간지 콘로 말라한테 답시바 계시모셔라 레스.
And so it is important to act in a way so that will not make other person to become angry. So like not making other to become angry.
야 간주 단다 간주 강에 용대바 찍대 강가를 초심에 비쳤네. 강에 지용 그러더라.
And of course, it is to do from our side as well, right? If we haven't trained our mind well, then we'll not be able to accept it. If we are able to take it, if we'll be patient with that, then there will be no problem, right? So we'll not have any, suffering, of becoming angry. We'll not become angry, so and so forth. And so that is because of not, having that contentment or being able to bear with that situation.
그러와. 근데 이제 딱 간주 지 뭐마 수야보 제거 외와나 디주토데 다 조바고면 되레스.
And so being patient, is very important. So even if you have created the cause, and even somebody, says bad thing to you, but which you can be very easily become angry. But if you practice patience from your side, then you will not have that problem. No matter what people say, no matter how people look at you, you will not become angry. So practicing patience is very important. And the other result of practicing patience is also it brings a good form, beautiful looks. So if you want to have a good look, beautiful form, then practice patience.
Everybody like that, right? Then 다 간주 제와 심마텔이야. 다 면도 제와야나 못되지. 다 뺀조고 못 보정거나 아니 좀 받던 거레스.
And just like that, if you don't want to be deprived of wealth, possession in the future, then you should practice generosity.
나라와 텐디 심바들라 인지미지 가든지 뺀조 되고 손으로 말했어와 주지 심바 아니 상세기 심바 아니 문제바 답지 심바스 모두 심바만으로 뭐 보셔야 돼서.
And so there's a different kind of generosity, like giving. So giving up a material thing is one of the generosity, one kind of giving, but giving of Dharma teaching, the instructions, the education, knowledge, all these things, and then also giving of protection. So if you protect other beings, that's also giving up protections.
그리고 배차로 오셔나 디 군솔 소존도서 남가들라 뭐라고지 다시 들어갈로되나 아니 야라셔나 다고 셉지어로.
And so, for example, like if you are walking on a sidewalk and you saw a bug that's upside down and struggling to walk, and then you're just happy to turn it over, and then even that kind of thing. So that would be also giving protection.
근데 주주라 다 근데 주주 차는 양가도 그게 시차다 시작하는 거는 가서 솔로거나 가서 다티 좀 등장은 당가 말했어.
And of course, then the other things would be like if you go to the slaughterhouse, right, and then you see some animals being slaughtered, and then you buy them. Please don't kill it. I will buy that because the purpose of slaughtering is to So that's about how we experience the sufferings we don't want. So then we can ask ourselves, what is the purpose of practicing Buddhism? What benefits does it bring if I practice Buddhism? So Buddhism is the teachings of the Buddha. Right? So what Buddhism is the teachings of the Buddha. So we practice the teachings of the Buddha, the teachings taught by Buddha. We practice that, and that's what we call following Buddhism, right? And so in order to follow Buddhism, or practice the teachings of the Buddha, we don't have to be Buddhist. And so because so whoever follows that teaching will receive the benefit, right? And what it teaches, because then again it depends on what it teaches, right? So what it teaches is to practice loving kindness, compassion. And if you practice that, no matter who you are, it will bring you benefit. And so it is not only something that is to be practiced by Buddhists only. It can be practiced by anybody, and it should be practiced by anybody who wants to have peace and happiness. And then on the side of having that love and compassion towards others, you will also not get angry. So you will not have those negative sides, and you will not get angry towards them. You will not have the ill will or the wish to harm them and so forth when you have compassion for them. And of course, if you can benefit, if you can generate that kind of compassion, loving kindness in one's heart, then that will bring happiness to oneself. Temporarily, one will be at peace and happiness. So what we want to have is happiness, right? We want to have peace and comfortable life, no problems and no complaints, right? And so therefore, one should practice compassion, practice loving kindness, and those are the main practices. And so if we practice those positive minds, like compassion and love, then temporarily one will be happy, one will be at peace, and ultimately one will achieve a full liberation instead of full enlightenment. And so what Buddhism explains, or what the teachings of the Buddha explains, is that the suffering and the happiness comes from cause and condition. And so it says, if you want to have happiness, you have to create a cause for that. If you don't want to have suffering, then you should stop creating the cause for suffering. And then it explains what are the cause of happiness and what are the cause of sufferings, and also explains the method on how to create the cause of happiness, the virtuous actions, and how to stop the cause of sufferings, the non-virtuous actions, the delusions, and so forth. And so for that we have to study. First we have to study to understand what are the cause and how to create what creates the cause, and what are the cause of sufferings, what are the cause of happiness, and how to abandon the cause of sufferings, and so forth. That we have to study first. And so after you study, then you put into practice. So through practicing, then you will be able to achieve the liberation or enlightenment. So without practicing yourself, there's no way you can achieve enlightenment or liberation. And therefore, Buddha said, and I can only show you the path to enlightenment, and achieving enlightenment is all in your hand. And so, for example, Buddha said, don't create any of the 10 non-virtuous actions. I think this is maybe not Buddhism. This I think all religions say. Don't
do any 10 non-virtuous actions. Other religions have the 10 commandments, right? Therefore, this is just different name. It's exactly the same. Then they say, anyway, they say, don't do any 10 non-virtuous, 10 commandments. They show us. If you do that, then you get the problem. You're the big trouble, right? Now we check, any 10 non-virtuous action we create, how the result? What happened? Next. Suffering then. Who? Us. Right? Therefore, the 10 non-virtuous is not only Buddhism, they are all religions. Therefore, they all show us to path. Now you walk, GPS show to how you go to the place. Then we can follow the GPS or not. Our choice. Sometimes GPS takes a little bit long way, they take but they run, Anyway, not the GPS same time. Anyway, this is it's real true.
So that is very important message, that we are given, saying that I can only show you the path to enlightenment. The enlightenment depends all in your hand. So to understand that.
Pena sajega ane ngegi chunzola chiktal roba chede nge ta chanato gewa da dipega nel kushinja malaba tenne ta roba chede teto yins mato ngeji je toba chanaso pa jenroya da chanaso dunga nge lapaga tushaya da chik semolean chinasho yo marsungwa res.
And also Buddha said that the only way he can help you or us is by explaining us what is right, what is wrong, how to create the right and how to abandon the wrong and so forth. So just by that, other than that, he said he cannot help you or help us by transferring his knowledge to us, his realization to us, or he cannot help us by taking our sufferings away. He can't take the sufferings of sentient beings just like you take, if you have a thorn inside your hand and you remove the thorn, you remove the sufferings of that, right? So you can't remove the sufferings of sentient beings, just like you remove a thorn from your hand. And also, he said, he can't, wash away the sins, the negative karmas that we have created. He can't wash it away, just like we wash away the dirt.
That thing, ngani tuji chigi lapaga laya dang chuk tuya na dang sanji kaji nganzo chuk meres nganzo sanji la kambale che chuk was.
So it is true that Buddha cannot do that. The only way Buddha can help us, is by explaining the method, the path, to achieve liberation. And so, if there is a way, if it is possible, then Buddha would have done that all the time. I mean, long ago. And if he didn't do it, then who can complain? Why didn't you do it? When you have so much compassion for us.
Right. That sanji tapsi ngandola ta lamshu jumalwa teatre te nyamse lemele nganaso lapares.
And so, you can complain saying, since you claim that you have a great compassion or immeasurable compassion and so forth, so the Buddha's response, but the reason is Buddha cannot, do that, and so the only responsibility he has is to show us the path, and he shows us, and if we don't practice, that's our fault.
What? Standing on the Nambegi. What? Where you come from? He just dropped that. What, you just dropped? The thunderstorm dropped you there? Anyway, Tenedang on the Nambil share to watch the legendary that depending on something.
And so that's very important, the karmic law of cause and effect. The karmic law of cause and effect is very important also.
Nanzo Tanda Chunzo Mangache Tanda Namba Soyana Gunachanachigi. The Nambi Chuchinico, Takase Man, long up Jin Roy Maros, the Gamba Soyamena. The Chundo the Macheta, Nando Nambi Chuching Sawa Chanja was.
So most of you here are quite new to Buddhism, right? I mean, none of you have been practicing Buddhism or studying Buddhism for over 50 years. Have you?
you know, then in by the any shunso bena ta nga ta saja kawa mamun chamro de ngi 통고 열서로 then 자 bena lumban dina ge 밑에서 tes 강에 제 그래 강에서 뉴아 제 토고 문제세요.
And so from my experience, of going to different places and seeing people, I feel like the people of this country, America, has less patience. Is that right?
I'm sorry to say that. 그래. 인상.
Is that right?
It's correct? Yeah. No, we say red what? 강에서 통해서 그래. patience. 근데 다들 가려고 그러면 나도 강에 주주이라는 나도 직 나도 때 내가 좀 쉬지기도 와서.
So that's because even if we face very small problem, we make it big deal, right?
Right? Even that doesn't harm you, but we make very big deal. then 아니 나도 남배가 추구지 달로브존스 사람 매봐야 나지. 암조는 마보 고댕이 지 남배 추구지 샤던로 지 전람로 조용이나 강이 추주는 딱 시나 강에 해대나야. 다 롬바디나 미치 나지 잘 제거면 돼.
But those who have studied Buddhism, right, or have been practicing Buddhism, and always heard about this patient all the time, and you have that And that mind which follows the delusion, and therefore all the suffering comes from that.
Usually, all the clothes, right? Cloth, use the body, right? That's subo kaya was, subo kaya was. Teresa ganzo chonga len samala. Konge subo da subo konga samana sem konga tulo de go nga de go do samne. Ani ganzo tulo mamusho nyogo was.
So the cloth is worn by the body, right? But who makes the decision? The mind, right? The mind thinks, okay, I want of this, I want of that. Oh, this is not good color, this is good color, this is not good size and not good style, and all these things. It's made by the mind, right?
Then you buy one, but then you say clothes is too tight. You have not enough spirit. You know, it's everybody. We buy one, maybe wearing couple days, couple weeks, then leave that, buy another one. Then we are very madness. We don't want to give up. We just keep. Maybe parents, grandparents, all keep that. But this is our very strong madness.
Miserliness.
Miserliness. Usually maybe we say 90 years, we say. We have enough maybe tangazo tulo. Sawa kuni nima mazoba kuna bena tulo pa tenera wajik bena chachu ina ba ta nagara was mesajilaya. Tangazo sa chonga nyushu sumchite mamu dasha was. Kun mat bajin.
Chachu.
Chasorwa. Charu kare. Ta chigdo ne chingwa jara.
So Geshe thinks if you live after 90 years, if you have 10 pairs of shoes, that will be enough for your 90 years.
You think?
Is that it?
We don't walk
it's
much,
enough, right? It's enough if you were to think it like that.
We don't walk much, right? No, my shantam is once enough many years. Also, especially this area, this country, we don't need to walk very.
So if you don't have to walk in the forest, so usually the clothes they get caught by the trees, branches, right, and then they get torn. But here you don't have that kind of danger. So even if you walk and it's very nice, so you don't your clothes will not get torn.
But we have not think about that. We have lot. We don't need to spend usually our money very much. But when man think, oh, I need to this cloth, then we buy more. Our clothes is full. Everybody has how many shoes? Long heel, short heel, how is it? High heel, loyal. Then men's has a very
Sharp pointed.
Everybody has. Maybe usually we don't think, right? We have too many things.
necessarily you become angry, but depends on who look at you, right? So if it's a stranger, who stares at you, then you might become. And maybe it's different in the staring and looking, right? So if it's looking, no problem. But if you keep staring him for a long time, and then you
There
become
is- I look- anyway.
angry, yeah.
Therefore, Mela say, Mela thinks that the kind of militant coin.
Milarepa.
Mela represent co Mela many Nazo call what the Number things. Nazo and the Mela Number 8 years.
And so because of this, the sages, think that sages, the practitioners, think we are crazy. The worldly people are crazy. And then when worldly people look at the sages, they live their life very poor and, with the, ragged clothes and eating from the the garbage and so forth. So they think like, that's crazy, So that's why the people say that when Milarepa look at the worldly people, he thinks, worldly people are crazy. But when worldly people look at Milarepa, who is, just sitting and meditating and not doing anything and just eating nettles all the time, and they think he's crazy, So that's why.
Anyway, today the tongue on Nambi Chunalaya, Ganzo Mutene. Tango Jawa Shimaj in the telepimage that choose to go retro.
And so anyway, so once we are born as human beings, we have all these favorable conditions to practice Dharma. So we should practice Dharma that will be of some benefit to ourselves in our future lives. And so the practice of Dharma, has to be done soon because we don't have this life, for a very long time. And so in our entire life, the half of the life is spent in sleeping. Or maybe about 1/3. And then if you take out the time that you spend to do your work, to eat your food, prepare your food and so forth, then there'll be not much time left to do anything else.
And
so this is what is explained here in this book at this point, where it talks about the death and impermanence. So the life will not last forever. The death will come, and we'll have to go into the next life. And so while we don't know what we're going to in the next life. So while we have this life, we should spend the time to practice Dharma. And it's not trying to scare us, it's the reality that we're all going to die. And so we have to practice Dharma now because we have the favorable conditions and all the conditions together to do practice now. And after we die, we don't know what we're going to be born as. We might not have this kind of favorable conditions. And so while we have these proper conditions and favorable conditions to practice Dharma, we should practice it. Not sure now. We're not. Haven't got there yet. And so this is talking about the death and impermanence, right? So that the whole subject on the death and impermanence, is divided into the 3 roots and 9 reasonings. So the 3 roots is the death is certain. The first root is death is certain. We all accept that, right?
And then
the second root, is the time of death is uncertain. We don't know when we're going to die. And so, the first root, which is the death is certain, and it has 3 reasonings, to prove that death is certain. And so I think we have gone through those 3 reasonings, right?
we are not done. No, I'm jumping. That Tambodle and Likanji Lava and I think to Shinto race at the and that Tambodla gentle song with the Tambode Likanji Lava Shinto race at the Tambode there is.
So if you turn in page 304 with the blue book, it's excuse me, the outline number 136. If you have a different book, it's the outline number 136. So it's this actual way to remember death, right? So this takes about the 3 roots and the 9 reasonings. So the first root is that thinking about the inevitability of the death, inevitability but of death. It's like the death is certain, right? So nothing can stop the death, and so that has the 3 reasons. And then the first reason is that Lord of death will definitely so the Lord of death will inevitably come, and no circumstances at all can prevent this. And then there's the second that we went through that already. And the second reason is that thinking how nothing is being added, to your lifespan, and it's always being subtracted from. So life, you cannot add more to the life, but the life, becomes shorter and shorter as you go on living. So this is in the outline 140, right?
Where we left off was the second root on page 310.
Second root,
Yeah.
콜라드레샤. 니바드레사.
Second red.
그 자와 니바드라.
스마트 남청에 매들. 남청에 밤에 봐. 자원이 봐.
남청에 봐. Second root, okay. Thinking about the uncertainty of when you will die, right? Of the time of death.
Okay, terrible.
Is that right? Is that where we stopped?
Okay, what page number? 310.
310.
줄어서 와. 다 남청에 매다 가디 쇼하고 말했어. 야, 땡큐. 그래도 가디 쇼하고 말했어. 주소 가디 쇼하고 왜스?
So we don't know when we're going to die, right? Do you know?
I know, I'm not die. I'm young. I think you guys not die. You're healthy, young, not time to die. Then other tell some good was. We are thinking that, right?
We think like that, right?
We think, I'm healthy. I'm just kid. I'm not die. Then in deep patch and then maang to long some that they know why maang to love grace.
And so here it's telling that it is wrong to think like that.
Terada niba namcheng heba mepala jinsun samle tongbo shin zambel lendang gi nidi jitselang heba mes.
And so that's when there's a second root, thinking about the uncertainty of when you will die. Right? And the first, there also has 3 reasons. And the first reason is, in general, the lifespan of people from the southern continent is not fixed. And this is especially for lifespans during these degenerate times.
Telang ngebaji yowaena kaje kadi shuga ngado hako yowaena tambo drade paame was tene nyanji thi chong jitini laka chazang she tene chobo jine de tene machiwe ngenda ta chushina jigro was. Thank you.
So if we know exactly when we're going to die, then we can divide our time. That's okay, thank you. Then we can divide our time. So okay, so this time I'm going to do this, and this time I'm going to do this. So here it talks about subduing the enemies and caring the friends. So anybody you have to care for, your parents, your relatives, and you do them all those things, and then you subdue all the enemies that you have to overcome, and you do that. And then after that, then whatever time left, then you say, okay, this time I'm going to dedicate for Dharma practice. You can think like that if you know exactly when you're going to die.
They chordina tetanen chowalang ngeba babainza ta namcheng emesato sambada kichimochara res.
And but that is not the case, right? We don't know when we're going to die, and we could die any time, before we finish doing the things that we're supposed to do, like caring for friends and subduing the enemies and so forth. So those are kind of worldly things. Before we get to do that, we might die. So we should practice Dharma before that.
Ndawa tenidan zole ane ta dhamini lo tonda nida shepawa shin zambile pachewa ta telang ngeba li jemba pachewa la telang ngeba yores ina ta ngandole ngeba mewares ro.
And so according to this text, called the Treasury of Metaphysics, it says that some of the continents, this is that we call it this world is in the southern continent, and then in other continents, the northern continent and so forth, they have a fixed lifespan. It says that there's inhabitants of Kuru live 1,000 years. The one on two of the other continents lives decrease by half and half again. And since in other words, the most of other continents, the lifespan of inhabitants are fixed. And here the lifespan is not fixed. At first it is immeasurable and it ends up being 10 years.
로 대단 잠블레다 담보텔로 밤에 투파쇼 다 로치 바다 마마 추네 대단 잠블린 진도 그래서 이제
And so the beginning, a long time ago, the life span of a human being was immeasurable. Maybe like thousands of eons even. So they lived up to that, and now then it keeps degenerating, and now it's like 100 years is most, or maybe 80, 90 years, and then it will come down and go decrease down, and then it will be 10 years. So the people who live the oldest and longest will be 10 years.
어디지 근데 다 기니디지 다 센들라 다 그 말이스
And so in this time of degenerate, so that's what it means by it keeps on degenerating. At this time of degenerate, the lifespan is not certain at all.
옛날야 셔라잖아라 다 나도 나 셔 말이 삼바요 말은 나 셔거리 가서 간가 삼 그랬어 있다 일람도스
And so so generally we don't think I'm not going to die. We all think I'm going to die, right? In general.
옛날 당간처럼 뭐요 다 달로라 뭐저냐 로직 당간도 대디 로부여 그랬어
So we know we're going to die, but we always think not going to die, right? We know we're going to die, but we always think I'm not going to die. Even until the time that you're going to die, you still think I'm not going to die.
좋아 다때 뭐시베 진텔라 당간도 듣고 그랬어 가시거스 레식 뭐체때 로좀비셔스 나 로춘주예스 나 셔말 로춘주예 진짜 때게 그랬어.
And so the reason why we think, I'm not going to die now is because some people think that, I'm young now, therefore I'm not going to die.
대랑도 되게 왔어.
We think that, right? We think like that.
다때 되지. 다 되게 병에 말했어. 쳐와서다 안에 경공 내려셔야다. 좀 봐줄셔야지. 아니 딱그 반응로 요 말했더라.
And again, that is not true, right? Just because you're young doesn't mean you're not going to die. So death will not come in a stage, It will not say, okay, only the young, the old one will die first and the young will die later. It's not like that, right? So anybody can die anytime.
대단 내려야 안에 부고 내려셔네. 안에 밤에겠다 부기 다 풍보도 받들을 끼고 왔더니 뭐 용도 왔어.
And also, so in this is the true case, right? So where children die before the parents, right? And the children die, and then parents have to bury them.
근데자 당가도 뭐 시기 말에 로충을해서 다 진짜는 좀 와서 와.
And so that reason is not correct, right? To think that I'm young, I'll not die now.
대사직 소초 말 땡은 뉴스 그런 거 뉴에서 로당을 봤어.
So that's how it is. That's true, right? In general, right? It's not just something said by Buddha.
안에 대마다 안에 라를 중앙 몸보다 나 셔선바다 단다 셔다 셔선바 몸보가도 용도 왔어.
So there are many people who die who are younger than oneself, right? Who have died, who are dying now, who are younger than self. And so why that kind of apply to me, And I can die also, even though I'm young.
당가시 남무체 가는 뭐지 가는 나사 매성도 전결해서.
And then other people, they think that I'm not going to die now because I'm healthy. I don't have any diseases.
그러와 대가도 멘트대로 마시만 안 나서 명도 되게 전결 왔어.
Yeah, so that's most of us. We think that, right? We always think that.
옛날야 다네 나사 영에게 나 댕에 되게 이 여름보다 뒤바라야 나사 천행미가 로봇 다 통로와 mambo 용도 왔어.
But that can happen, certainly, right? I mean, suddenly, whilst the people who are sick, going through treatment for years and years, and people who are healthy die suddenly, in like a car accident and so forth, right?
그러 다들 지금 로봇 신도와다 뭐 모터 담다와도 캄바시도와도 출록나 킨도와도 근데 나도 따사 뭐 용도 왔어.
So because the disease is not the only thing that brings the death, right? So that can come because of, like I said, car accident, or by falling from the house, or the house collapsing, and or getting into a flood, or falling into water, and so forth. So all this can be conditioned for death.
어디지? 근데다 다때미 가능한 뺀남 가지 칼라 산로전의 신도와들 뭐 요래서 근데 신동에들 칼라도 사마사방아 식삼비도 세미주는 요 말했어. 근데 뭐 요래서.
And then some people also die while they're eating, right? Before they even finish their food, they die before. So nobody will think like that, right? So while I'm eating, I will never think that I may die before I finish this food. I never think, but that's happening, right? That happens. Many people die before they finish their food, the food in the plate.
답변이 나오는데 가르치는 데지 르빠땀 믹싱하고 랍거리는 가서 쌈고 근도 쌈었다 가르치는 랍거리 왜 나스
So we have to think why the teacher or Buddha explaining all these different reasons to prove that we may die anytime. Why?
가래서 단대 담보라 봐 근데 땅가도 추제고를 추제도 파샤샤야 말했어 다 들이 제고를 단단히 제고를 다 되려고 이제
So the reason is because we have to practice Dharma. So practicing Dharma is the only way to bring happiness, and and we have to practice Dharma for that. And Dharma practice should be done while we're still alive. And because we don't know when we're going to die, therefore we should practice Dharma right now.
어디지 근데 가시 사하나 야한테 참아라 소속고 뭐 마을 참아라 근데 뭐 좀네 내가 들어오더니 뭐 용도 왔어
So some people, while they walk into the restaurant, to eat food, they walk very healthy. But coming out, they might get people harm us, right?
나도 미지가 컴플레인 치는 가서 지우면 도와서.
If people complain about us, we will not be happy, right?
근데자 다 파메라 양투스 마제스.
And so just like that, don't complain about others also.
봐. 어때 내가 쳐모치라레스.
That's very important.
근데 다 냠네 바띵 림보도 띵 림보 치는데 쉬우잖아. 다 조조 다미 샘라 뇌하게 레카데 강 톡톡식 마제가 탑시지스.
And of course, you can go into very detailed and depth practice of the teachings, but in general, you should try your best not to cause any harm to others.
봐. 아니 간주 미 파주 샘라 뇌하게 아니 계제 시았다. 미 따다. 라바 이게 듣다. 섬네 용도 와서. 소보가 남자 된다.
And so we complain about others, by seeing their faults, just by the way they look at you, the way they speak to you, even, the way they write something, like writing down. It's such a bad handwriting. I can't read it, stuff like that, right? So we complain about even those small things.
Right. 근데 이제 양 대수한테만 양지 파주에 가디 제제대 세대라고요 말이에요.
But doesn't mean that you have to just, let go everything, right? And just be patient with everything. Doesn't mean that.
봐. 아니 답이는 가지 지 답이 야보로 지니. 삼점 미도 미바라 강연으로 쇼마야나 지 깨셔시네. 아니 지 바지. 강연에서 수야가 될 답이들 제오래서 와.
So you should use skillful means, to solve the problem, between human to human, right?
가디 나가서 컴플레인 따자로 왔습니다. 강게다. 아무도 직바지장 컴플레인 따자로 왔어.
But we always see faults, and that's why we always complain, right?
그래서 컴플레인이라 제어마다 대 소소 컴플레인 자체 제도나 가디 위에 좀 요래는 랑 말해.
So if you keep on complaining, about others all the time, then you can never be free from problems.
오케이. 다 되는 거 되는 것도 되는데 샤.
So that's about it for this, and we'll stop here for today.
근데 난 말한테서 로를 남주 뒤에는 조사관과 때문에 그랬어 로를.
And so if you have time, you should read these. You all have books, right? You all have books, so you should read it.
그래서 양내 양달로 해나 그거 얘기를 마셔대 말로 찍거나 삼삼 깔래 가대하러 삼삼 오다 남이 들이 랍그를 했어요. 하는 거 룩선도 잘하고 그래서.
So you have to keep on reading. More you read, more understanding you will gain. Keep on reading, and then this will remind you. If you don't read it, you will not understand, and then you will not think about it. So reading and trying to put into practice is very important.
Okay, thank you. Then any questions? Yes, yeah. I think there are some speakers.
Okay. So what is the third root? Remind us the third root. We have death. Death is certain. Time of death is uncertain. What's the third one?
So somebody got us. So at the time of death, nothing will be of any benefit except Dharma practice.
Thank you.
시위트 주마도 당도 다 출레메 주켈랭이 기자다. 하고 출레 켈랭이 자다는 시작으로 보지네. 주마도 신행하고 팽해돼 봤어.
So this is of course, it is true for anybody, but it will be only accepted by people who practice Dharma, right? So those who accept, the Dharma, who practice Dharma, who accept Dharma, is it true that only Dharma practice will be of any benefit at the time of death? Nothing will be of any benefit. Is it true? Accept Dharma practice? It's true? Yeah.
지나서 단대 내가 나도 짜치주도 가대 있어.
But what is the most important thing for you now?
What's 말해 대마ting.
Yeah, of course, that's very good.
Yeah, that's good. 셴바.
But what do we think of the most important thing in our life now?
배차샤와이나. 지나가 남인데 지나다 아침으로 왔어.
Your son?
Your son or daughter,
Your
your
daughter.
wife,
Your husband, your wife?
your brother, sister. If sometimes there is a little problem that most, right? Important, so
Yeah. So your relatives, right?
대네 티도나 나도 따치주도 나도 수보들에서.
And other than that, what for ourselves, it's our body, right? We consider our body most important.
What do you think? You accept this or not? What is most important?
What do we cherish most? What do we cherish most? Ourselves, right? Our body. Do we cherish our body? Of course, right? We do.
이나 휴대서마다 가도 머리도 이거는 줘야 오케이 말아봤어.
So even this body, which we cherish most, we consider as most important, doesn't help us at all at the time of death, right?
아니 셔네 깨진이 바니 미강에 텔레미어 로스타 그래서.
And so after the death, in the second moment of the death, then this body will no longer be your body. It will be what? Corpses, right?
아니 미강에 따지 마셔가 쪽다사로 저는 그러봤어.
And something filthy.
나 아니
Nobody
로트
wants to touch it, right?
그러봐. Maybe people scared. 그러봐. 대마서 대메디게 교회들이 둘로 대야 미강에 딱 로그레서 땅도 자꾸 가시던 로 소요레서 땅도 와고 메스. 아니 밑에서 막혀한데 요레서.
And then some people even consider the person, the body, the dead body which is wearing the cloth, even the cloth that's worn by the dead body will be considered as bad. I mean not in every country, but in some countries they think it's bad, right? So dead bodies with cloth.
그래서 다지 소소 짜칭 하나도 단다. 다 수보다 짜치죠. 대양 키에메고 나도 수보다 많이 가가 많이 수보고 여기네 컵지네. 야만나 사고 많이 사그래. 야만나 비기 매나 나도 매다 당상도 왔어.
So this body, which will be separated from your mind and it from yourself at the time of death, and then it will be either cremated or be buried, right? And so it will be of no use to you.
어떤지 이마다 갈세다. 당 안주 남주 대상 짜치쇼데 가서 소소 수보들에서. 다 대오케요 말했어. 대가 개갈강도 펜도 말했어.
So that even that will not be of much of any benefit at the time of death.
당 안주 냠도 가르로 그랬나? 나라서 냠도 나라서 샘도 요래서.
So what goes with us is our mind.
샘도 가르쳤나? 개와도 마게 바차니 그가 딱 자자 되니키로 그랬어.
And so what mind is able to carry with it, when it goes to the next life, is the imprint of the positive and negative karmas.
되네 개외래 사샤여와이나 아니 되게 펜토요 그래서.
So if you have practiced dharma, if you have practiced virtuous actions, and then that will be of great help at the time of death.
다 먹기와 사샤이나 되게야 다 인간으로 젠도 그래서.
And into next life. So with that, you'll die peacefully, you'll have a good life in the future. But if you have created non-virtuous actions most of the time, then you will have a very horrible or fearful death, right? And go through a lot of fear and suffering at the time of death. And then in the next life, you'll be thrown in the lower realms.
그래서 당 아주 캔 남베게 냐와 예다 돈조 섬데 겐겐로스와 뭐다 라마스는 다 덴로츠요 그래서.
And so three lower realms, the hell realm, hungry ghosts, and the animals. And then there's the upper realms, the three upper realms, or good realms, is the human